What is up, everybody? Welcome back, or welcome to my channel, Generator 3. Today I will be ranking the horror games that I have played in the past. But first, a thank you, and because I know attention spans are literally negative 500 at the moment, here's a video of me celebrating with my dog. Woo! We did it! 100 subs! Thank you guys so much for participating and supporting this channel. It means a lot. I put a lot of time into filming and editing every week, and it means a ton when you guys like, comment, or subscribe. But mostly just giving me the encouragement to continue producing content for you guys and for myself, and continue enjoying the horror genre. So, with that said, let's just dive into some rankings. Alrighty, so I have here a tier list of all the games that I have actually played. So that is not including any games that I've only seen the gameplay of, which excludes a lot. So I think I'm going to try to rank these on 3 criteria, and the first would be if it's horror or not, how scared it made me feel. The second is playability, how easy it is to get through the game or learn or play. And the third is the general impact on the community as a whole. Okay, so let's just go down the line, shall we? The first is Firewatch. I liked it a lot, it was cozy. It's not a horror game. So I'm gonna put it at D. It's just not. The next one, Five Nights at Freddy's 2. This game is terrifying. With that said, it is, in my opinion, pretty difficult, and it didn't have too much of an impact. So it was scary, but it wasn't very playable and it wasn't super impactful. I just didn't like it better than the other ones. I'm gonna put it at a B. But I put Roblox Piggy in here. Okay, I'm sorry, I had to include it. Okay, I'm a Piggy fan. I love Piggy. Who doesn't love Peppa Pig? I mean, Peppa Pig horror? Perfect. I want to put it at S as a joke, but I'll go by the criteria. Is it scary? There's jump scares, but no, not really. Is it playable? Yes. I actually think the way that they make you figure out the maps is kind of why there's a little bit of a challenge and it's fun. Did it have an impact on the community of horror? No, but it had an impact on Roblox. Okay, I'll put it as at a C. Okay, Five Nights at Freddy's 3. To me, this one was not nearly as scary. I'll just say that. But it was so much more playable than the second one, as in it was easier for me to play and get back on. Did it have a really, really big impact? Comparatively to the first one, like, no, not really. Oh, this is gonna be harder than I thought. I'm still gonna put it at B, because I think it lowered the scare, but it upped the playability. Subnautica and Subnautica 2, apparently people consider these horror games. Guys, this is, like, Subnautica is literally my comfort game. Like, you know how some people play, like, Stardew, or Minecraft, I guess, for their, like, no. Subnautica is mine. Like, I would play Subnautica in my undergrad when I was, like, struggling. It's peaceful, I love it. It's not a horror game. I'm sorry, I don't know why people, I mean, I guess I see why people could think it is, but it's just not to me. I love the world so much, it can't be. Visage. Okay, so I hear for some people this game wasn't scary. Good for you. This game was terrifying. And I think it was terrifying to me because there was literally no safe place. Like, even between the chapters, you would be in the house and you would be going insane in the house, which is kind of supposed to be your safe place. I have no idea if they actually kill you when you're there or not. Maybe it's an illusion. I almost think the house was more scary than the chapters. Was it playable? No. Just no. It was so difficult to navigate. There are so many times I actually had to look up what the hell I was supposed to be doing, and I was actually playing while a friend was watching me, and both of us had literally zero idea how to keep going in some of the chapters. It was so specific. So it had a very, very scary thing, but it was relatively not playable. Has it had an impact? I'm gonna say no, but it is well known. I think because it was so freaking scary, I'm gonna put it at an A. To me. I hear it's not scary for some people. I think it's a hit or miss. Super Normal, this was a lot of fun. I played with one of my besties, Corey. It was not scary though. More scary than my comfort games, I'll put it at Piggy. Suite 776 was fun to me, but I think I wasn't too scared because I knew from Is Simon There that the enemy wasn't gonna kill you, really. So I wasn't that terrified of it. But it was a lot of fun. I'll say that. But it didn't have a lot of impact. It was playable. It was like a whatever, you know, it was good. The Witch's House? Oh my gosh. I had so much fun with this. I played it with Danny. I really have not played a 2D pixelated game like this in terms of horror. So it was, I guess the most experience you could say I had was like Pokemon from Lavender Town. Okay, but Hypnosis or whatever, the stories, the creepypasta stories. And that song's a banger. All right, that's all I'm gonna say about that. Anyways, The Witch's House was so much freaking fun. It had a lot of jump scares. I wasn't scared though, all the time. So, playable, yes. Impact, I believe it's a classic for a lot of people, so I'm gonna say yes. In horror, it did get me. It got me. It was just so good. I'm gonna put it at an A. Slender, the 8 pages. Was it scary to me? Not a lot. I think I played this in like middle school. So, yeah, okay, you know what? I'll give it credit. It was scary back then, especially. Was it playable? I remember it being more difficult than The Arrival, but not difficult enough that you can't win. So I think that's okay. And its impact, we have to admit, it like changed half of society. It's not my favorite, but I'm gonna put it at an S because of how impactful it was on the community. Phasmophobia. Is this game scary? It can be. Not incredibly to me. I'm in there sacrificing myself half the time while everyone else is in the van. So I'm gonna say not to me, but it was scary. Is it playable? This is where I have a hard time with this because frankly, I think Phasmophobia has I don't know if it's a learning curve or what. People who are veterans at the game can play this really easily, but people who are new to the game, oh my God, guys. I can't get a ghost for my life. I can't catch evidence for my life. I don't know about anyone else, but it's very difficult for a bunch of new people to try to play this game off the bat. I think there's a big learning curve and I'm gonna say it's not very playable for newbies. If you aren't willing to go and do the research, which like also sucks. I don't want to go do a bunch of research to play a game. Was it impactful? Yeah, it was. Just straight up. It did definitely increase the amount of like multiplayer horror games that came into popularity. So I'm gonna put it at an A. I just don't like its playability. It's really difficult for new people. Outlast 2. Was it scary? Meh. Was it playable? No. Dear God, was it dark? It was boring. It was in the farmlands. No. Was it impactful? No. Outlast, the first one. This is a little close to my heart. That's because it's probably one of the first horror games I ever played. Is it scary? Yeah, I think so. At some parts, it's scary. Not every part, like sometimes it loses you, but it definitely has its scare factor. Is it playable? I love the way they did Outlast, and I think it's one of the most well-known sources of putting a character in and not allowing them to fight. I love that idea, and I think we haven't really touched any of the games that allow you to fight, but it takes away from the horror for me. And Outlast, you're just a camera and it is run, hide, or die, baby. Like, you gotta go. And I love that. It brought in the night vision, it just brought in the chase, and I think it did have a real impact on the community. It was definitely one of the early ones that hit hard. So I'm gonna put it as an S, because I love it. Subterror, very similar to Lethal Company. You can check out the gameplay there. But is it scary? Yeah, I had fun, but it's fun scary. It's not like, oh, like I don't want to play anymore. It's kind of scary. Is it playable? It was more playable than Lethal Company, in my opinion. When I played Lethal Company, it required me to have a shit ton of mods in order to like not be running back and forth from the van like a madman or be able to get money. You know, it needs to be modded, and I don't think that's a good thing for a game to need. So I'm gonna say Subterror is a little bit more playable than Lethal Company, but it hasn't had an impact yet. You should check it out though. So I think I'm gonna put it at a C, and I think Lethal Company, it's not as playable, but it had a much bigger impact. I'm gonna put it at a B. I know some people love it. I'm just not the biggest fan of rounds games, I think, period. Whatever, it's my list. Little Nightmares 2, I'll do Little Nightmares 1 first. I loved it. It was a lot of fun. It was ominous. It wasn't quite as scary as I think some games. The playability was also sometimes a little difficult to see with the camera, but it had a pretty big impact, which I really liked about it. I'm gonna throw it in A because it really did have a good impact. And then Little Nightmares 2 I liked, but it was the same thing as oh man, I should probably okay, Lethal Company had a huge impact. I'll put it at an A. Little Nightmares 2 just didn't have as big of an impact as Little Nightmares 1, I think. It was more of the same. But it was good. It was still a good game. Okay, Silver Chains. Was it scary? Yeah, it got me a few times. It had some good jumps. It wasn't like scary otherwise. Is it playable? I had some difficulty navigating this one part. I remember I spent an hour roaming around. And did it have an impact? No, not really. It's not a D, but it's a C. Is Simon there? I was sweating playing this game, guys. I think if you know that the developer's really not in there to kill you, it would be a lot easier, but I had no idea, so I was pretty terrified for my life. And I was talking so much, trying to not be scared. I think it's slept on. I'm gonna put it at a B. It doesn't have a lot of impact, but it is really scary to me. And it was playable enough. Okay, I did have like one trouble trying to open a door for a really long time. But other than that, I'm gonna keep it, it's fine. Slender the Arrival. Not too scary for me. Pretty easy to get through. I don't think I died once. I think 8 pages had a bigger impact. Okay, C. I don't know, C's kind of like, for me, games that were fine. Except for Piggy, I love Piggy, but some people hate it. You know what? The Forest? I'm sorry, guys. It's my comfort game. I don't know what to tell you. It's my comfort game. I go there and I do little hunting. Like, it's not scary to me. I like it. I like it. Handy Harry's Haunted House Services. I'm sorry. It's just not a good game. Well, but I have a hard time when games don't have good graphics. It's not easy to learn unless you have a veteran telling you, and it can get really, really hard to navigate. And I have a decent sense of direction, I think that. The Evil Within, well, I'll do Made of Scare first. It was fine. It just wasn't too scary. It was kind of annoying in some of its playability features, and it didn't have an impact at all. Okay, The Evil Within, this game, it trades on its features. Its playability can be difficult, and that's because of how scary it is. Genuinely, you have no idea what the hell is going on, and every time you're in that safe room, you do not want to go out and leave again. Psychologically breaks you down. Like, you just don't want to play anymore because of how scary it is. It's not quite scary as, like, psychological. It's more like, oh my god, I made a lot of progress. That took a lot out of me. I don't know what the hell they're gonna put me through next, and I don't quite want to do it. And I really love the concept. You just don't know what the hell is going on in it, and that kind of also adds a little bit to the horror. And did it have an impact? It's pretty well known. So I like it. I'm gonna put it at an A. It is a good scary, it's a scary one. Okay, FNAF. I have to put it at an S because of its impact, but frankly, I was never the biggest fan. But it's just insane how much of an impact it's had. Resident Evil Village, I decided to throw it in because I'm currently playing it. I have not finished it yet, so if the ending changes this, oh well. I'm having a great time with it, honestly. So I'm gonna put it at an A. Is it scary? It has its decent moments. Again, more like jump scares. Its playability is just fine. And its impact is pretty high, actually. Bramble the Mountain King. I love it. It's not a horror game. I had a great time with it though. It's just not scary. The Evil Within 2, it's not as scary. I don't really consider it much of a horror game, frankly. Its playability is much easier than the Evil Within, the first one though. And its impact was it didn't have much, but it's still a good game. Okay, Soma. I think Soma's slept on a little bit. I think it was just a little hard to see. I must say that. But I really like all of the stuff they did with the message. It was unique in its message. I'm not gonna spoil it for you guys, you can check it out. I don't remember it having the best playability, and it hasn't had an impact. It was still like an okay game. All right, I guess if it's an okay game, I'll put it as a C. Dungeon Nightmares. This game is so much fun to play with a bunch of people. If you have a bunch of people in the room and you just like send someone in to play this game, So much fun. It's just a maze, you go through a dungeon, and there's a bunch of jump scares. It's a lot of fun for non-horror gamers too. I think they can play this. So horror-wise, yeah, it's scary, it gives you good jumps, and it mixes things up. Playability, enough, just enough. Impact, I don't know. I feel like this is a little one that I've discovered, but it's not as discovered by other people, and it should be, because it's fun. It is a rounds game though. I liked it, I'm gonna put it at a B. Dying Light, I'm sorry, it's not a horror game to me. Just because they're zombies doesn't mean it's horror. It's fun, it's parkour, and you get a gun and you get to shoot things. GTFO. Scary? Yes, very scary, especially since you'll lose literally all your progress if you fail. Is it playable? I think, again, this is one of those games where you can't learn easily without veterans who have memorized the maps or able to do things that you had no idea you could do. Otherwise, it's a really, really steep learning curve. And I think so much so that I don't even play it like solo or with a non-veteran. So I'm gonna throw it at a B, even though it's so scary. In Soundbind, I had so much fun with this game, but I don't remember like being super scared of things. It's not a horror game to me. It's a crap ton of fun though. You should check it out. There's awesome music in it. There's a cat. There's a really cool bad guy. He's very charismatic. I really liked it. Devour, one of those multiplayers again, but I just don't like it that much. Is it scary? Yes. I scream my pants off half the time because the jump scares. But its playability is difficult because it makes it really difficult, I think, for novices, even in the first level, to win. It doesn't have great sound dynamics, I guess, so that you know where the enemy is. Like when it screams somewhere in the map, it sounds like it's right next to you, and it makes it really, really difficult to be able to navigate some of the areas. The Baby in Yellow, so much fun, very comedic. It's not a horror game to me. You know, it's a comedy mix, but Silent Hill Homecoming, I'm sorry, it's just bad. I know the Silent Hill series itself is really good, but Silent Hill Homecoming, just bad. Resident Evil 2 and Biohazard. I loved Biohazard. I had a great time. I think it's gonna end, like, Village is gonna end up being on par with Biohazard for me. And then Resident Evil 2, I also had a really great time. Listen, I know all of these have had the Resident Evil series in general has had a really big impact on the horror community. I understand that. And its playability is just fine. But I have an issue with how scared they make me because frankly, other than a few jump scares, I don't feel scared. And this goes back to that one thing I brought up earlier in that games that allow you to fight back usually are just not as scary for me because it gives me some autonomy and some power to control the horror that I experience. You know what I mean? Sometimes that's ripped away from you. I find that a lot of fun. Like we just had a chapter in The Village where they took your guns away. I thought that was awesome and a good variety mix up. But a lot of times it's more of a shooter to me than it is like a very horror. Is it a good game? Yes. Okay, and I left Alien Isolation for last because it has had a pretty big impact. I'll just say that. Not like huge, but it's well known. It's playable in that, you know, the mechanic. I don't really have issues with the mechanics of the game. Alien Isolation, I think, is the #1 scary game I've ever played. It is so difficult for me to play this game. It is so scary. And I think partial of that is the way that I don't know if they, like the algorithm for the Alien is just really good or it's like, it feels like AI before AI, like it learns, I swear. Like you can hide under a table one time and it might not check it that time and then it might check that table the next time. And like, unlike with Outlast, if you're hiding in a locker, Outlast people will always check the locker next to you, but never your locker. Alien will. Like, they're like, oh, you've hidden in lockers too many times? I'm gonna check it this time because you're being a little bitch and hiding. It is genuinely so scary. And you can't fight the alien. All you can do is scare it off and it will come back. Like, you can't scare it off for long. Like, this thing is legit. And the way they set it up so that it doesn't just keep spawning you in if you die one time. Like, you save, you could get super far away, do so much, and then the alien's inbound, and you're like, oh my god, I do not want to lose all my progress. And it's so stressful. It's so good. My only issue with the game is that it's too long. Usually a horror game does not put you in this much stress for this long. So other than that, it's just, I think it was just so scary to me in such a good way that it's an S tier. There it is, guys, for you. I think if I could break these down, I'm gonna say S tier is for really impactful or really scary, one or the other, which is very well known. A tier is really, really good games, just not quite hitting as hard as S for various reasons. B tier is like, it's a good game. I like it. C tier is like, it's okay. D tier is either it's not scary or it's a bad scary game. I'm sure by looking at these, you can figure out which is which. Let me know in the comments below, do you guys agree with this tier? What would you switch out? Where did I go wrong? Or what should I play next? Whatever you want to comment, I'm here for it. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to hang out with me and watch this and give me your opinions. Again, thank you for the 100 subs. In the meantime, you all take care.